no matter what you say, they're going to fight and contend and blame and argue and get angry, and it's like there's no satisfaction. And how do you... It seems as though these moles may have been put in place to try to do some damage.
Yes, we've been informed. We have many people on the inside in Washington, in many of the agencies that support wholeheartedly what we're doing. The vast majority of them actually do. But there are some, we estimate about 10% of the people in there that work for, I don't know what we call them agents of the dark side, I guess, but they work for evil people that want to destroy. They don't want to build this country, and they don't want you to have freedom. They want you to be a slave and spend your life catering to what they need, so they can take 70 or 80% of your income and do as they please with it, and while you just make a subsistence living on this planet. There are a number of people in the world that are that way. They want you to be their slaves. We estimate about 10% of the people work inside Washington are probably working for these people, and they place agents among us, and they've done it many times. We know who some of those agents are. Many people that work inside, as I say, work with us and help us to manage that, and we have to, from time to time, move people out of the way because of that. They are put here as plants or moles, as you said, and they're here to cause destruction and disruptions and try to stop us from our goal. But I will say this to them, and there are probably some of them listening to this call, and I hope they are, that you can't stop God. No matter what you do, you're not going to stop God. It is God's time. It is time for God to deliver the people of this nation into freedom, and God is going to do that. And there's nothing they can do to stop that. This train has left the station. It has too much momentum, and it cannot be stopped. And it won't be stopped.
For me, as I have done my best to cover this, there's a newspaper in the Valley here that finally sent a reporter to cover this, and here at RBN, I did my best to be there in person and see what was going on, and I saw myself individuals that I spoke with who they did not even plan on coming, but as they listened to the calls on Wednesday, as they've listened to this radio program in the morning for the last several Wednesdays, and as they have received emails from across the country, everybody was invited to come. And many people that I saw here told me right out, God told them to come. They were not even planning to come. They didn't have the resources to come, and they came anyway because God grabbed their lives and told them, you must go to this event.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. Congress, when they convened, we had committees formed to go in and write the bills, or rewrite the bills, and get them prepared to present to the Congress. And during that period of time, Congress had a praise and worship service. And this was not any specific denomination of people. They were from all walks of life, and they came together and they had a praise and worship service to the Almighty Creator, thanking Him for an opportunity to set this nation free. The power of God was so strong in that place. People were divinely healed, and there were many miracles done in that meeting, and God was with us. God is with us. And when is the last time you ever heard of a praise and worship service to God the Creator in Washington, D.C. in Congress?
In a Congress. Wow. You see, many of us, we have not heard what did go on in this Congress, and we have not seen the bill, but we understand that significant work was done there this last weekend. Significant for the future of America.
It is the most important bill that has been passed in this country in over 200 years. I can tell you that. It will set the American people free again. It will stop the tyranny that's going on in Washington. It will stop the cabal, the banking cabals, from destroying America. And although I can't get into the details of the bills for reasons, we have some certain protocols we have to meet right now before it can be released to the public. But it will be released in its entirety to the public very soon, and so that the world can see what we've done here. We're proud of what we've done. We've done absolutely nothing that was unlawful, immoral, or wrong in any way. We're very proud of the work that all of the folks that came together. I'm very, very thankful for the minds. We have some brilliant minds in our movement, and I'm just awed at the talent that God pulled together to do this job, and it couldn't have been done without the hand of God.
I was noticing several of the people at this event, how they are so careful and so passionate in the detail of just the finite words on the page.
Yes, words are very important. We've learned how to do a lot of wordsmithing over the years. We found that in government, words are used against us quite often to obtain different goals that are not really good for the people of the country. So we've learned about a lot of these words and how to use them properly. And I've written many, many documents that have been filed in many, many countries and in many, many courts. And we had a team that was incredible of people just kind of came together that volunteered to help. And I was amazed at the knowledge in this group. These folks are from every walk of life. One is an attorney. One is just a businessman. One was a school teacher. Another was just a laborer. Had no professional experience except what he had learned. Some had doctorates from college that were knowledgeable in different fields. But we brought all of these people together, and we do open government, as I said. We sat down and we actually started doing this stuff with the people, and they were actually giving us input, and it was awesome the way it came together. And we worked very hard, and late last night working on some other documents that we're working on, trying to complete. And what's come together is it's a masterpiece.
I must ask, were you allowed into this Congress?
I was asked not to influence the Congress, and I respected their wishes. I didn't want to influence the Congress. I wanted them to have free will to do as they pleased, and without any influence from us. I wanted them to do what God led them to do, and they did. And I'm very proud of the Congress, and they rose to the occasion, and they got the job done, and I'm very thankful for that. It's been an awesome experience.
These people represented the will of the people, correct, and not yours?
Absolutely. I had nothing to do with the legislation. I did help write some of the documents, but the congressman helped me do that. We had people from the House and the Senate. In fact, we had the Senate Pro Temp and the Speaker of the House with me while we were drafting some of these documents.
Okay, hang on. We'll be right back. This is RBN. In this segment, we have about 4 minutes. This is the Morning Liberty program. Thanks for tuning in. I did mention last night to Tim Turner that we would begin at 7 a.m., and I was thinking Texas time, RBN time, Central time. But here in the Rocky Mountains, we get started. I get up at 5 a.m. so that I can join you my time at 6 a.m. And I screwed up, and Jim joined us a little late this morning, and I apologize for that, but Tim Turner told me that he's willing to join us, that he's ready now to speak and let you know what occurred. And Tim, it was interesting as this first began as a Utah thing to help invite people to join the Republic. And then 7 western states were invited to participate, and then as you agreed to come and other members of your team agreed to come, that people across the whole country were invited to come, and I think they were invited in every way to come and join this gathering here, and all of a sudden enough people were gathered to hold a Congress, and it's amazing. Nobody, if you take a look at anybody who was involved, I know of people here in Utah, the handful that are here, that from their own pocket, they rented a van to take people who came in at the airport and drive them down. It's like almost a 3-hour drive from the airport in Salt Lake down to this event, and they did that out of their own pocket, spent their time, their money to help bring people here. And there are people who hopped in their car and drove down from Alaska and drove here from all across the country to come because God told them to. It's like this wasn't controlled and manipulated by you. This was initially a recruiting event by people in the western states that grew much beyond what anybody who would have planned this thing, grew much bigger than what we thought it was. Tim? I was just rehearsing how people in Utah have been bringing people from the airport in Salt Lake down to this event, spending their own time, their own gas, even a gentleman who rented a van so he could help pick people up and bring them here, people from all across the country. This wasn't something that you organized, Tim. This wasn't something that it was manipulated or controlled. It kind of came together like the hand of God was upon it. Tim?
Yes, that's correct, RJ. We were invited guests here to speak. We had nothing to do with the organization of the event, and I'm very thankful to the governor and all of the participants that helped pull this event together out here at Windwalker Ranch. It was a great thing. We had a wonderful time, and the people really responded. And this was more of a spontaneous thing. And as I said, we didn't have anything to do with setting up the event at all. We were just invited as guests to be here, and we attended. I told them that I would, and come be a speaker. And that's basically we had a number of other speakers as well, and it worked out great.
And that's how it started. And it's interesting. There's a story I heard a long time ago of a family. I hope this tells well. A husband and wife who had two sons, and one was happy no matter what circumstance he was in, and the other son, he just complained, was never happy enough no matter what circumstance was in front of him. And the parents decided, the one of their children who were always upset and always angry, they filled his room with toys, just filled his room with toys. And then the other son, who's happy no matter what situation he was in, they filled his room with horse manure. We'll be right back and continue this story and have the discussion with Tim. This is RBN. Okay, we are back. Good morning. This is the Morning Liberty Program. I'm RJ. Tim Turner, are you there? Tim
yes,
Turner,
RJ.
Are you there? Okay. I'm doing my best to get this out of the way. I'm doing my best also to describe it. The husband and wife, they've got two sons. One son is always happy. The other son is always disgruntled. And so the son who's always disgruntled, they fill his room with toys. Just fill it with toys. New toys, big toys, pretty toys, fancy toys. The other son they fill with 3 feet deep of horse manure. and both boys came home. The one son, the boy found in his room all of these toys. He should be happy. He should be content, jumping for joy. And he didn't. All he could do was find something that was wrong. He found something wrong with this toy and that toy and just still unhappy. And the other son, they had filled his room with 3 foot deep of horse manure. He was in there with a shovel. And they asked him, "Son, why are you so happy?" He said, "There's got to be a horse in here somewhere." and you can work and work and work to make people happy. And there are some people who are going to be happy. And there are some people that no matter what you do, they're just going to complain and complain anyway. Tim?
Yes, RJ, I'm here.
And it's interesting on the internet to see the people who are the accusers, the accusers and the complainers still, even though everybody was invited to come. And even though the work, right, there are people who have been complaining for months and months about when are we going to get this work done? When are we going to come together? When is this? When is this? How come that? How come that? Complain, whine, and it all came together this last weekend, and nobody was really in complete control of the whole event. It just, outside of anybody's control or plan, it just came together.